Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into something that might sound, well, a little dry at first,
Yeah.
but I think it's really interesting. We're going to be talking about supplier evaluation.
Okay.
We've got this great article called Supplier Evaluation: How to Evaluate Your Suppliers.
Yeah.
And we're going to unpack it and use it to kind of help all of you out there
Right.
really get the most out of your suppliers.
Yeah, it's funny. Supplier evaluation, people think, oh, checklist, check
Yeah.
that box. But when you really think about it, it's like the foundation of a successful business.
Yeah, for sure.
So those key partnership.
It's a buzzword, yeah.
Right.
But I don't know if a lot of people really dig into the potential there.
Yeah.
So what does it even really mean? What is it?
Well, it's two things, really.
Okay.
It's making sure that you're getting the right new suppliers,
Yeah.
and then also continuously making sure that your existing suppliers are still the right fit.
Right.
And it's not just about the numbers either.
Interesting.
There's definitely the quantitative data,
Yeah.
but then there's the qualitative factors that you have to consider.
What kind of things?
Well, like fairness.
Yeah.
Is the supplier ethical? How do they treat their employees?
Right.
Do they focus on the customer?
Okay.
Are they really invested in your success? Or just their own?
Oh, interesting.
You really have to look at it as a partnership.
But I feel like most companies probably already do this, right?
You'd think so, but you'd be surprised.
Really?
A lot of companies, especially smaller ones, they kind of leave supplier management to chance. And that's when costly mistakes can happen.
Like what?
Well, imagine missing out on saving money
Yeah.
because you didn't see those hidden inefficiencies.
Right.
Or even worse, your reputation gets hurt
Oh, yeah.
because the supplier isn't doing things ethically.
Right. Right. So it's a big deal.
It really is.
Yeah. It's not just about the money. It's about the whole foundation of the business, it sounds like.
Exactly. And it all comes down to knowing what your organization really needs.
Okay.
What are those must-haves, those priorities?
Right.
What can you be flexible on?
Yeah.
This is how you decide what's most important when evaluating.
So it's not just about who's the cheapest then.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
In fact, the article specifically says to be careful about just focusing on price.
Interesting.
You got to look at the big picture.
Okay.
Let's say your company is all about sustainability.
Right.
Even if a supplier's cheap, if they don't care about sustainability,
Yeah.
well, that could really hurt your brand in the long run.
And alienate your customers.
Exactly.
So how do you actually evaluate a supplier? Where do you even start?
You need a framework,
Okay.
something that works for you.
Okay.
Some companies use those detailed scorecards,
Seen those.
spreadsheets galore.
Yeah.
Others might use some software like Prokuria.
Makes it easier.
Automates the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
But whatever you do, you need a consistent way to gather information and make decisions.
Right. So it's not just about checking their references or something.
It's much more than that.
Got
You
you.
could visit their site, see their operations,
Why?
look at their financials, their quality control,
Okay.
even talk to their employees.
Get a real feel for it.
Right. You need the full picture.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but it's worth it.
Okay.
The article compares it to building a house.
Okay.
You wouldn't just choose the cheapest materials.
Right.
You want quality, you want it to last.
Yeah.
Same with suppliers, Putting in the time now
Yeah.
saves you money, reduces risk, and you end up with those strong partnerships.
Really important.
Absolutely.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface here.
We have. There's so much more to talk about.
Yeah.
Like what to look for specifically when you're evaluating
Okay.
and how to make this process work for you.
Right. Yeah. I'm interested to hear more about that.
But first, why don't we take a little break?
Okay. Sounds good. We'll come back and dive into all those details.
All right, we'll be back. All right, so let's dive into those evaluation criteria. What are we really looking at here?
Well, the article has this whole template.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like all the things that go into it.
So there's not just about price and delivery then?
No, those are important, of course. But there's a lot more.
Like what else?
Well, production capacity. For one,
Okay.
can they actually make enough of what you need?
Makes sense.
Especially if your business grows quickly.
Right.
You don't want to be stuck because your supplier can't keep up.
So how do you even figure that out?
It's not just asking them, hey, how much can you make?
Right.
You got to look deeper.
Okay.
Like, what's their facility like?
Right.
Their equipment. How many people do they have working?
Oh, interesting.
What are their lead times? How fast can they get things done?
Yeah.
And what happens if there's a sudden increase in demand?
Right, so you're really testing them. Yeah, you want to see how they handle things.
Okay, so it's more than just what they say they can do.
Exactly. And then there's compliance with specifications.
Oh.
Can they actually meet your exact needs the quality you need, all the
This
requirements.
is important for certain industries, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Where it's really strict.
Especially if there are, regulations.
So what do you ask for, like certifications and stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You want to see proof that they have systems in place for quality.
Right.
Documentation, certifications, maybe even test results.
Wow. So it's really thorough.
You want to be sure.
Okay, so you've got the hard data,
Right.
but what about I guess, the human element?
Yeah, that's where those qualitative factors come in.
Okay.
Things like customer service.
Oh, right. That's important these days.
It's huge. You want a supplier who's easy to work with,
Yeah.
someone who responds quickly, takes initiative,
Right.
that open communication, they go the extra mile.
How can you really tell that, though?
Well, you can look at their history,
Oh,
talk
so?
to other clients, see what they say.
Oh, right. Get the inside scoop?
Yeah, you can even, test them out.
Oh, interesting. Like how?
Send an inquiry, see how fast they respond,
Wait,
or
what?
maybe even create a little problem.
Oh, wow.
See how they handle it.
So you're really putting them through their paces.
You want to be sure they're a good fit.
Okay, that makes sense.
The article also talks about their, team spirit.
Okay.
What's their approach to business?
Right.
Do they share your values?
Kind of like a cultural fit almost.
Yeah, exactly.
But that seems hard to measure.
It can be tricky.
Yeah.
You can do surveys, interviews.
Okay.
Even those site visits can give you a feel for their culture.
Right, right. You can kind of see it in action.
Exactly. Oh, and don't forget about their past performance.
Yeah, that's important.
Have they done what they said they would?
Right.
Met deadlines, gone above and beyond.
Yeah, you want to see that track record.
It tells you a lot about their reliability.
So it's not just taking their word for it.
Yeah, do your research.
Okay, all of this makes sense, but what about their finances?
Oh, that's crucial.
Yeah.
Especially for a long-term partnership.
You want them to be stable, right?
Absolutely. A lot of businesses don't pay enough attention to this.
Really?
They get excited about a new product or service.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
And they forget to check if the supplier can actually handle it financially.
So what are some warning signs?
Well, you can look at their financial statements,
Okay.
their credit ratings, even how they pay their own suppliers.
Right.
The article talks about understanding their total cost of ownership.
What does that mean?
It's not just the price you see up front.
Okay.
It's things like shipping, storage, even disposal sometimes.
Oh, those hidden costs.
Exactly. They can really add up.
Yeah, you don't want any surprises later on.
Nope. And remember, evaluating suppliers isn't just about avoiding problems.
Oh, right.
It's about finding opportunities.
Oh.
Choosing the right partners can really help your business grow.
And innovate.
Exactly. You can get a real competitive edge.
This is all great stuff, but how do we actually make it happen?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How to put these ideas into practice.
Right. How to make it work for you.
Let's take a quick sec to gather our thoughts, and then we'll dive into the practicalities.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh.
All right. So we've talked about why it's important and what to look for,
Right.
but how do we actually do it? Like, how do people actually put this into practice in their business?
Yeah, you got to take all those ideas and, turn them into action.
Yeah.
First thing, got to figure out what method works best for you.
Okay.
Some people love spreadsheets, all those little boxes.
I like a good spreadsheet.
Right. Nice and organized.
Yeah.
But others might want something more automated,
Sure.
like using software. Prokuria is one example.
Right. Makes it a little easier.
Takes care of a lot of the work for you.
Especially if you have, like, a ton of suppliers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
But no matter how you do it, you got to start with those criteria we talked about.
Right.
Right. Those factors.
Exactly. Like production capacity. Can they handle the work?
Yeah.
Compliance, customer service. Are their finances in order?
And all those, ethical things.
Oh, yeah. Super important.
Yeah.
And remember, this isn't one size fits all.
Right. Of course.
A tiny startup's going to have different needs than, like, a huge corporation.
Totally different priorities.
So you got to think, what are your deal breakers?
Okay.
What absolutely has to be there?
Yeah.
What are you willing to be a little flexible on?
Okay. So you figure out what's important to you.
Right. Then it's time to gather information.
Okay. Like what?
Well, go visit them, see their operation,
Okay.
look at their financials, their quality control,
Right.
talk to their team, maybe even their other clients.
The whole story.
Yeah. And don't forget just, like, having a conversation.
Oh, yeah. Just picking up the phone.
See how they communicate, how responsive they are.
So you're building a case almost. Exactly. You need the full picture.
All right, then what?
Then comes the fun part.
Oh,
Analyzing all that data you collected.
okay.
Looking for those patterns, the good and the bad.
Right, so you're not just collecting it, you're really thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, this is where you separate the winners from, well, everyone else.
This is where a spreadsheet or software would be handy, I bet.
Super helpful. You
Yeah.
can compare everyone side by side,
Yeah.
see who really stacks up.
So what if you find something you don't like?
Well, that's when you talk to them.
Okay.
Remember, it's not about just finding reasons to say no.
Right.
It's about building those relationships.
Yeah, those partnerships.
If you see a problem, be upfront about it.
So use the data to start a conversation.
Exactly. Be honest. Focus on solutions.
People are usually pretty open to that, right?
Most suppliers want to be good partners.
They want to do a good job.
So feedback is helpful.
Makes sense.
And remember, this isn't a one-time thing.
Oh.
You got to keep evaluating, keep the conversation going.
So it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, your business changes, their business changes.
So you got to adapt.
Exactly. Schedule regular check-ins, stay in touch.
Keep that relationship strong.
It's a two-way street.
This has been great. Thanks for all the insights.
My pleasure.
So any final thoughts for our listeners out there?
If you put in the effort to evaluate your suppliers, you're setting yourself up for success.
Right?
You'll make better decisions, have better partnerships.
Make more money, less.
Exactly. You'll be able to unlock the full potential of your supply chain.
Awesome. Well, on that note, we'll leave everyone with something to think about.
Okay.
How can you apply these ideas to other parts of your life?
Interesting.
Your work, your team, even your personal relationships.
I like that.
It's all about evaluation, making sure things are working well.
Food for thought.
That's all for this deep dive, everyone. See you next time.